Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning, everyone. We're so fortunate to have you here with us. We appreciate the members of the media who are joining us on this very important day, on this historic occasion, as I announced my second nominee for a Supreme Court vacancy with our state Supreme Court. I want to begin by thanking Justice Tomley for his incredible service to our state over many years. We're fortunate to have someone of his intellect, his wisdom, and his incredible capabilities to have helped lead our state as a member of our state Supreme Court. We honor and we wish him the very best as he moves on to other endeavors. With that, it is my great pleasure today to announce my nomination for the next justice of the Utah Supreme Court. I interviewed several candidates, in fact, 7 different candidates, all of whom are incredible candidates with great intellect and great capacity. But after much consideration, one stood out as the person best prepared to serve on the high court at this time. My selection is Judge Jill M. Pullman. Judge Pullman has served on the Utah Court of Appeals since 2016 and currently serves as Associate Presiding Judge. She is a member of the Utah Supreme Court's Advisory Committee on the Rules of Appellate Procedure, the Utah Courts Committee on Judicial Outreach, the Executive Committee of the Utah State Bar Litigation Section, and co-chair of the Judicial Outreach Branch and Media Subcommittee. Prior to her appointment to the Court of Appeals, Judge Pullman was a partner at the law firms of Stoll Reeves in both their litigation and appellate practice. Also clerked for Chief Judge David K. Winder of the U.S. District Court and the U.S. Attorney's Office. In her private practice, Judge Pullman handled several high-profile cases, including litigating the dispute between the Deseret News and the Salt Lake Tribune over the joint management of the 2 papers and participating in the independent ethics investigation of the 2002 Salt Lake Olympics scandal. She also successfully argued before the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals to win asylum for a family of 4 that had fled political persecution in Colombia. Judge Pullman earned her law degree from the University of Utah S.J. Quinney College of Law, where she graduated Order of the Coif and was a member of the Utah Law Review. She also magna cum laude with a dual Bachelor of Science degrees in both political science and communications from the University of Utah. While there, she was a member of Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society. While attending the University of Utah, she also interned in the Utah Senate during the 1992 legislative session. Judge Pullman was born in Ogden, grew up along the Wasatch Front, and attended Alta High School. She lives in Salt Lake City with her husband, Troy, and their 3 children, Ella, Max, and Phoebe, all of whom are with us today. I also want to recognize Judge Pullman's mother, Connie McKee, who is here with us, and her father, Bill McKee, who unfortunately could not attend. Thanks to all of you for your great support of Judge Pullman in her important work. I just feel so lucky that we have so many talented people here in the state of Utah. I want to thank all the other candidates who were chosen by committee and elevated. I think most people know, we've talked about this before, I do not get to choose the candidates for the Supreme Court. I get forwarded 7 names from the selection committee. I get to interview those candidates, and I want to just state for the record, maybe we've had a governor in the past who has put as much time and effort into this as I have. It's certainly possible, but I care deeply about who serves in our judiciary. I'm an attorney by trade. I clerked for a federal district judge. I have read more cases over the past 2 weeks than I ever cared to read again, and I wanted to make sure that we got the right person. And so I put tremendous effort, not just into the interviews, but also to talking to other lawyers in the community, other judges in the community, and trying to get a real feel for the flavor of the candidates that were before us, making sure that I was doing my job to choose the very best candidate for the people of the state. it will probably not be lost on you, especially you in the media, that today is a historic day. This we will have if confirmed, and I will say I also spent a lot of time with members of our state senate who absolutely love Judge Pullman, and that was the top choice of she was the top choice of many of them. That if confirmed, that we will have 3 women serving on the Utah Supreme Court for the first time in our state's history. It will be a majority female court. And I also want to tell you that I couldn't care less about that. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it's great and I think it's awesome, but that is not why I chose Judge Pullman. That would certainly not be fair to her, and it would not be fair to the people of this great state. I chose Judge Pullman because she was the best candidate, and I believe that she will make the best Supreme Court justice. The fact that we do have 3 women on there, I think, is a testament to the way the bar has changed over the past several years, that we have more qualified candidates, that we have more incredible attorneys that are practicing, that have joined the bar. I can tell you, when I started practicing in the Salt Lake market in 2001, that was not necessarily the case. Most large law firms were comprised with an overwhelming majority of men. And there was a need to have more women graduate from law school and join the bar. And I'm pleased to see that has happened, that we have both male and female throughout the state. And that when we're doing these interviews, we're not looking at that at all. There is no distinguishing between the resumes and the talents of our male applicants and our female applicants. I'm grateful that we are in a place where we get to choose the very best, and that Judge Pullman is the very best. And I want to assure you that she is. Her interview was incredible. I wish everyone would have had an opportunity to see her in that capacity. I can tell you that, having read so many of her opinions, that she is also a talented writer, that her logic is impeccable, and that her judicial philosophy fits very closely with my own judicial philosophy. She is a person that believes in the rule of law. She is a person who is dedicated her career to following the law. She is not someone who chooses an outcome and then tries to find a way to make it fit within the legal parameters. She is as unbiased as anyone that I have ever met in the judiciary, and she has served us so well on the Court of Appeals for so many years. And we would be very lucky to have her serve, if confirmed, on the Utah Supreme Court. So with that, that's all you're going to hear from me, at least for a moment. We'll open it up to questions in a few minutes. We will now hear from the Chief Justice of the Utah Supreme Court, Justice Matthew Durant, followed by remarks from Judge Pullman. Justice Durant.
Thank you, Governor Cox. Well, I can tell you, and I know I speak on behalf of my colleagues on the Utah Supreme Court, that we are, beyond thrilled with Judge Pullman's appointment. I'm deeply appreciative as a citizen to Governor Cox for the principled, conscientious, and courageous way in which he leads our state. But I'm even more grateful as Chief Justice that he puts such enormous effort into finding just the right person for these judicial positions, because they are positions of sacred trust and worthy of nothing less than the kind of effort that Governor Cox expends. I so appreciate it when I see a public servant so dedicated to doing the right thing. And yes, it's a wonderful and happy fortuity that we'll be an all-female or a majority female court. But it's purely a fortuity. That's how the merits played out. Governor Cox has made his last two selections purely based on the merits, qualifications, experience of the individuals he has nominated. Justice Lee truly made extraordinary contributions to the judiciary. He was a careful scholar and is a careful scholar. I think he's still alive, as far as I know. So he is a careful scholar. Every opinion he touched, whether he authored it or not, he made better. He was a wonderful colleague and will be greatly missed. And that's why I was hoping, praying, all fingers crossed, that we would receive someone of Jill Pullman's caliber to replace him, because she is remarkable. I've had the chance to work with Judge Pullman for a number of years. She has served as a substitute judge on our court, so I've had a chance to see her mind in action. I've read, like the governor, I've read many of her opinions. She is an intellectual powerhouse. She does it in a quiet, understated way. She's not a self-promoter. She just does the work, and she does it brilliantly. She has an extraordinary, incisive mind. She writes, as the governor indicated, in a cogent, persuasive, logical way, without a hint of bias. She is absolutely and unqualifiedly committed to the rule of law, committed to ensuring that each Utah citizen who participates in our judicial process is treated in a fair and dignified way. She's the judge I would want to appear before. If my life were on the line, or if my business were on the line, or if my family were on the line, she is precisely the kind of judge that we need in our judiciary, and precisely the kind of judge and scholar that we need on the Supreme Court. So again, thank you, Governor Cox, and it's my sincerest hope and belief that the Senate will confirm Jill Pullman, and in doing so, they will do an extraordinary service for Utah's citizens. Thank you.
Good morning, Governor Cox, Lieutenant Governor Henderson, Chief Justice Durand. Thank you both for those very kind remarks. It's hard to follow that. I kind of want to just take it all in for a moment. I can't begin to express how humbled I am by the honor of this historic appointment. When I was in the 4th grade, my Horizons teacher at Nibley Park Elementary introduced me to the law. She taught me how laws were made, and she taught me about how the judicial system worked. A spark was lit, and I told everyone and anyone that when I grew up, I was going to be a lawyer and a judge. And while I've worked hard to achieve that goal, that 9-year-old girl could never have imagined that she'd be standing here in the Gold Room today, receiving an appointment to the Utah Supreme Court. Thank you, Governor Cox, for giving me the opportunity to live beyond my dreams. If confirmed by the Utah Senate, I will work tirelessly to serve the people of this great state and to make you proud. I'm pleased to share this moment with my family. My parents, Bill and Connie McKee. My mom is here today. My dad wasn't feeling well, but he's home watching on the live stream. I miss him today, but I'm so honored to have them as my parents. They taught me so many wonderful things growing up, including how to work hard and how to serve others, and that both of those things will bring you joy in life, and they serve me. And my husband, Troy, my son, Max, my daughters, Phoebe and Ella. So pleased to have you with me here today. I asked for 4 more enthusiastic and dedicated cheerleaders in my life. When I was appointed to the Court of Appeals 6 years ago, my Phoebe was only just 5 years old, and she started referring to me as Your Highness and bowing to me around the house. I kind of thought it was awesome. Didn't tell her that wasn't really the right title. But that quickly wore off. But I will say that over the last 6 years, they have been so supportive of me. They see me working nights, working weekends, but they're always so supportive and trying to help their mom out, and I truly love them all. I owe gratitude to the many people who've been involved in this judicial selection process. We are fortunate to live in a state where significant time and effort is invested in ensuring that we have a strong and independent judiciary, one that's based on merit and not favor. I'm grateful to the Bipartisan Appellate Nominating Commission, the governor's staff, the lieutenant governor. They are dedicated public servants who are skilled at putting candidates at ease while asking difficult questions. And trust me, they were difficult questions, but I appreciate the care with which they undertook that process. I also want to thank Governor Cox for the extraordinary care he's taken in fulfilling his constitutional role in this process. I enjoyed discussing my record and my judicial philosophy with him on more than one occasion. And with the other 6 exceptional candidates that he had to choose from, I know his decision wasn't easy, and I didn't envy it. I also want to express my gratitude to the Utah Senate, now tasked with deciding whether to confirm this appointment. I look forward to meeting with members of the Senate Judicial Confirmation Committee and look forward to discussing my record with them as they fulfill their duty. I would like to briefly express my appreciation for the Utah courts and the dedicated public servants that work there. If confirmed, I would have the distinct honor of taking the seat of Justice Thomas Lee. He is an intelligent, principled jurist and one that I greatly respect. The court will miss him. I am also so grateful for my colleagues on the Court of Appeals, past and present, as well as the staff and my wonderful, talented law clerks. Everyone there works so hard and they all care deeply about the important work we do. And I'm truly grateful for all that they have taught me over the years, and they've all made me a better judge. And if confirmed, I'm joining an equally dedicated group of public servants on the Utah Supreme Court. I've been fortunate to occasionally sit with the chief and the other justices, and I've not only seen their brilliance firsthand, but the thoughtful and careful way with which they discharge all of their duties. Finally, Governor Cox, I want you to know that I understand and feel the great weight of this appointment. If confirmed, I will be committed to work hard every day. I will treat people well, and most importantly, I will uphold the rule of law. Thank you again for this extraordinary honor.
Thank you, Chief Justice Durand. Thank you, Judge Pullman, for your words and your dedication to this important office. Just a few notes of process. Judicial appointments, as I mentioned, require consent of the Utah Senate, and we're honored today to have President Stuart Adams with us. Thank you for joining us, President Adams. The Senate Judicial Confirmation Committee will have an opportunity to interview Judge Pullman, and then she will proceed to the full Senate for their approval. As we've looked at the timing of this, we will likely have those confirmation hearings in July with the hearings in July, and then final confirmation would likely take place on August 17th, although that's certainly open as we look at that's regularly scheduled interim meetings will be held in mid-August. So we do have some time for a few questions, and Judge Pullman, myself, anyone can answer those questions. Ben, please.
Governor, the state Supreme Court will take up some pretty major cases coming up. We've got redistricting, transgender athlete, abortion now. Did that weigh on your mind as you made your selection?
Of course, it weighed on my mind. Again, in all times, the Supreme Court is tasked with dealing with the most difficult cases by design. That's what Supreme Courts do. It's the difficult cases, the divisive cases, the hard cases that make it up to the Supreme Court. And so, making sure that we have the right people on that court is very important to me. I will tell you also, Ben, that a Supreme Court is different than a district court judge in that as a district court judge, you're the one. Supreme Court is a team. We have 5 people who work together, and they all bring different skill levels and talents together. Many of us just watched the NBA draft, and teams are trying to decide whether to draft the best player or the best fit. They need a point guard, but maybe there's a power forward who's the best player. And so some of that goes into this as well. We're trying to draft for fit and the best player. Losing losing Justice Lee it leaves a big hole in the court. He played a very valuable role and has helped to focus the court again in a very principled way on what kind of cases the court should be hearing, and then again a judicial philosophy that remains true, an originalist and textualist philosophy that of course shares mine. And so I was looking for the next Tom Lee, who is going to be the person that will be able to fill that gap that was being left. And fortunately, I got to find the best fit and the best player, and I got both of those in Judge Pullman. Please.
And considering Utah's growing population, do you believe 5 Supreme Court justices is enough to fully represent our state, or do you believe that it should be expanded to say 7?
So that's a question that has been bubbling up a little bit. I know there's been some discussion in the Senate about having those conversations. I haven't. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I have not time on that issue to give a good answer. I think we should always be cautious when we change institutions. I'm an institutionalist. In fact, I will also tell you one of the reasons I chose Judge Pullman is that she too cares deeply about the institution of the court. And at a time when trust is at a premium, when more and more people are losing faith and trust in institutions, it's important to have the type of jurists on there who can listen, again, be fair, be honest, and be the type of justice that can deliver justice and maintain the integrity of the institution. And Judge Pullman is that person. And so my concerns would be, I don't know if 7 is better than 5. Certainly, I would be willing to look at those arguments. We've seen that in some states as they get bigger. I don't know if having 2 more people is better representative of the state or just makes it harder to come to conclusions together and to strive towards that unanimity that is important when it can be achieved, and trying to find that, again, having a court where you are delivering opinions that are clear and concise and give confidence to those that are practicing and those that are part of the justice system. So again, that's a long way of saying I'm not sure, but I'm certainly open to the discussion.
What is your philosophy? Sorry,
Judge Pullman?
I'm so sorry, Judge Pullman.
Judge Pullman, please.
Yeah,
Sure.
What is your philosophy?
Thank you for that question. I characterize my philosophy as one of restraint, judicial restraint. I only decide the issues that come before me. I don't reach out and try to reach issues or decide issues that aren't fully briefed and presented by the parties. I also, I try to approach every case in a principled way. I follow the law, follow the guidelines that have already been set forth. And I do that to ensure that people are treated fairly and that we are applying the law equally to everyone. I also ensure that I am always cognizant of my role and the limits. I am not a legislator. I'm not a policymaker. That's the job of the legislature. I am there to interpret the law and to provide rulings, but I make sure that I never reach out and decide cases based on what I want the law to be or what I think the law should be, but instead what the law is.
Judge Pullman,
Yes.
what do you make of if you are confirmed, it will be majority with state history? Your qualifications notwithstanding, that is still a historic moment. So what do you make of it?
I think it's a wonderful moment. I appreciate the governor's comments, and I appreciate that he selected me without regard to that, but I still find it's a wonderful thing. I sit here and look at my 2 daughters who get to look up at their mom and get to look at a court and say, gender is not a barrier to getting on the court or to getting in certain positions. And we need women's voices. And I think this is just a confirmation that women should serve and women should express their views.
Ben, can I just also add something to that? And I didn't mean to be so terse before when I said I couldn't care less. I do care, and I think it's wonderful. But what I wanted to underscore is this: I did have some people who said I should select a female judge just so we could have a majority female court, and I kind of recoil at that because again, that's not fair to whomever I would select, and it's not fair to the people of the state of Utah. What I found myself doing, though, was discounting it a little bit, going the other direction, because I didn't want people to think that was the reason that this choice was made. And so unfairly, I probably raised the bar even a little bit on Judge Pullman, and recognized that I was doing that. And again, that was not fair to her, but she cleared even the higher bar. And so that is not the way we should be doing things. Obviously, I shouldn't make a higher bar for that. But I just so wanted to make sure that people knew that wasn't the reason for this decision. It is a great thing, and it is a historic thing, and it is something that we should celebrate. And I can't wait until the day when we don't have to celebrate these things anymore, when it doesn't matter, when there aren't more firsts, because we're all treated the same, and we all get treated by the merits of our character, and not by the color of our skin or our gender. That's what we're striving for, and that's what happened here. As the Chief Justice said, it is fortuitous, but not predestined. This was not a choice based on gender at all. Period. Full stop. Other questions? All right, speak now or hold your peace, at least until the next time we're together.
Do you anticipate, given the major caseload facing the Supreme Court on these very heavy cases that are now states' issues, do you anticipate a more contentious Supreme Court hearing or a confirmation hearing?
I don't, actually. And I feel so blessed to not be president of the United States, to be governor of the state of Utah. That we have wonderful members of the Senate. And I can tell you, again, I don't make these decisions in a vacuum, although ultimately this is my decision. I recognize that a couple things, that there are people that are very smart and wise, and I should listen and learn from them. And so I do. I also recognize that although I get to make this selection, again, I am reliant on the Senate to confirm for my selections to get nominated. And so you can be assured that I've had conversations with senators, with leadership, to understand their thoughts. They don't just wait until they get the names to start doing their due diligence. They've been looking at all 7 candidates, knowing that there is a pool that I will be choosing from. They've done a lot of research. They've done their due diligence. And I can tell you, to a person, they all love Judge Pullman. And I would guess, just from the conversations that I've been having, that if they were to get to choose, that's probably the choice they would have made as well. I think they would have been fine with other choices, but I know at least of the ones I've had the conversation with, they were really pulling for this one. So I'm not worried about contentious hearings. I do expect them to be very thorough. And I think we saw that with Judge Hagan. They asked very probing questions. They did a tremendous amount of research. You may have noticed that they actually had 2 sessions, 2 confirmation sessions this time. That is new. That is not something that has happened before, and we support it. Again, we want to make sure that we get the best candidates in there, and in so doing, we're very thorough. I will also just note that with both of these picks, we're very fortunate to have a record where they've served on the Court of Appeals. I liken it a little bit, sorry, everything's a sports analogy in my world, but I liken it a little bit to, I'm a baseball guy, it's baseball season, and the minor leagues. It's a lot easier to bring someone up from the, if you're an Angels fan and you've watched somebody play for the Bees here in Salt Lake, how they bat against left-handers. They know what kind of you can watch their base running. We get to do that with these candidates, and so there's no question they have a little bit of an advantage in that I get to go back and read their opinions and think, how would I have decided this case? And not just that, but as the Chief Justice mentioned, they've actually had an opportunity to sit with Supreme Court members. They've been in the room debating contentious issues. They've watched them, probed their intellectual curiosity, and then seen them come to conclusions in some difficult cases. And so I will also note that I have conversations with Supreme Court justices. I want their opinions on these people that they've worked with, because I don't have that opportunity. I've never sat in a closed door session with Judge Pullman and listened to her debate her colleagues and watch that process happen, that deliberative process. So it's very it helps confirm what I thought. But it also gives me peace to know that they've already been in those seats, that they've already faced the fire of being a judge in a contentious issue and found ways to bring their colleagues together. But also, I would encourage you to read some of Judge Pullman's dissents. That's also important to me. What happens when you can't come together, when you can't have that type of unity? When do you choose to dissent, and what is the tone of your dissents when you write those dissents, and what is the logic of your dissenting? And I was as impressed with her dissents as the majority opinions that she authored. Anyone else?
Just another
Please.
question.
Yeah.
So sorry. Just another question for Judge.
Yes, please, Judge.
Obviously, right now that we have a lot of, like Ben was saying, we have a lot of contentious cases coming to court. I think with the possibility of a majority female court, I just wanted to get your thoughts on Utah state constitution. It says both male and female citizens of the state shall enjoy equally all civil, political, and religious rights and privileges. What does that mean to you?
I think, unfortunately, it's a question I can't answer right now. That's going to be something that comes before the court. But I will assure you that I do not predetermine cases, and that I will think very hard about the cases and the arguments that are made before me, and I will take great care, and I will uphold the law. So those are the things I can tell you, but unfortunately can't give you more of an answer than that right now.
Judge Pullman, what was one of the hardest rulings you had to make as a judge, and how did you come to your decision?
It's hard. I've had students. I go talk to high schools quite a bit, and they ask questions like that. And I tell them cases are hard for different reasons. Sometimes they're hard because the law is not clear, and it takes me weeks and weeks of reading and rereading to get to a place where I think I've understood the law and kind of ironed things out. And so those are really hard cases. And then I have hard cases that sometimes the result is not something that I like. It's something that kind of hurts. I realize that people are going to be disappointed. Those hurt, but I still reach the decision that needs to be reached. But I think those are sometimes the hardest cases that I have to decide, are ones where maybe I don't like the result, but in following the law, that's what the law dictates.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. I will also tell you, just for the record, she wouldn't answer that question for me either. And that's a good test of a great judge. And she is and will continue to be. I want to thank the other members of the Supreme Court who are not here with us today, but are watching anxiously, wondering who their new colleague might be. We again are very blessed to have incredible members, people who sacrifice their lives, sacrifice a tremendous amount of money, of monetary blessings to get to decide these most difficult cases. And I'm so grateful that we live in a state where people are willing to give up some of those monetary opportunities to give back and give public service, and to have the best and the brightest willing to do that makes Utah a very special place. So again, thank you all for being here. I should probably conclude just by thanking my staff. We have incredible staff. Tom and Dan, thank you for everything that you do. Kathy, is Kathy Bonus here with us? She's not here with us. They get to go through this judicial process often, and they get to interview all of the candidates, some of which they've interviewed before, some of which they've interviewed many times before. And then they get to sit in those same interviews with me and the lieutenant governor. And sometimes we ask the same questions. And I will tell you, one of the mistakes I made, though, is by picking Court of Appeals judges, because now I have to replace them and we have to go through this all over again. So we've just made more work for ourselves, but that's okay. We know that's part of the process. And I do have incredible staff that works so diligently to make sure, I believe, that we have the best judiciary anywhere in the country. Part of that is the way the legal framework that we've set up to help us choose judges and to choose the best judges. A part of that is because, again, we have the best people. It's easy to have the best judiciary when you have 7 awesome choices for a Supreme Court justice. It makes my life much easier and much harder at the same time, because I get to choose between some incredible people. But I just want to thank everyone who's involved in the process, and most importantly, for people listening at home. I hope that your faith and your trust in the state judiciary can be strengthened through these announcements, through getting the opportunity to meet someone who is as pure a jurist as Judge Pullman. And we wish you all the best. Thank you for coming today.